This is Love Beauties and Flawless Man. Welcome back to another podcast episode. We're going to have a raw and uncut conversation. In 2026, you have to protect your peace. You have to preserve the good energy you have left. You have to set boundaries. We need to set boundaries. When we think about all of the problems that we have, some of the problems we endure, it comes from a spiritual perspective, trying to teach us something. Some of the problems we have come from our own humanly mistakes, efforts. Some of the problems we have in life comes from other people, or it's not having energy. When we talk about good energy, having good energy, being a good person, attracting good things, being youthful and energetic and healthy, all of those things come from you having a good energy. Your energy is your presence. Come on, Jesus. That's the easiest way to break down the energy, the vibe. It's your presence. Some people call it an aura. It's your spirit. It's who you really are. I've just learned about essence. It's the essence of who you really are. It's your character. It's who you really are, whether you are deceiving or not. You can't deceive your energy. You can't deceive your spirit. You can't deceive who you really are. So you have people that are able to pick up on who you really are. If you really are a good person and they're really a bad person, they have negative energy. They want to cling to you because if they drain you of your positivity, if they drain you of your good character, if they drain you of your good energy, if they drain you of your creativity, if they drain you from your sexual power, then they're able to use that for themselves. There's a lot of people knowingly doing those things. It's an energy transfer. You can call it destiny swapping. Oftentimes it's witchcraft. What happens is they're exchanging your positive energy for their bad energy. And this exchange is so subtle. We have to pay attention to some subtle signs of you being tired all the time. It's a red flag if somebody is tired all the time, to where it's affecting your health. You're not able to get rest. You have bags under your eyes, like not just from being tired, just regularly, but deep, dark bags under your eyes. You're not able to do certain things like jog or you just don't eat right. It all plays into the same thing. Typically a negative person, they all have the same characteristics. The reason why we have to protect our positive energy, because it is worth more than gold. With your positivity, everything beautiful under that is you. If somebody is coming and they're always being negative, they're taking away from you. Then also you can say restoring your cup, or we hear it like that, filling your cup is empty. If you are empty, if your energy is empty, if you're confused, you're in your emotions, you're not able to make conscious decisions and all of the things, we call it, you're under a spiritual attack. You're not going to be able to refill yourself if you're in a negative environment, if you're around negative people. It's a hindrance. It causes you even more damage. So we have to protect the people that we are. You have to protect that beautiful smile, because people are not even out here smiling. You have to protect that beautiful heart, because people don't have love. And we are looking for love in all the wrong places. So whether people are aware that they're doing it or not, it's more people aware that their energy, taking energy, they call it energy vampires also. It's more people that's aware of what they're doing than people that is not. The reason you have to protect yourself is because you're conscious and you have a life to live. You have plans, you have goals. When we start talking about the sexual side of it, this is why the sexual side of it is so powerful, because you're in a vulnerable state where somebody is able, if they are consciously aware of what they're doing, they're able to just swap out your whole life, your whole identity. It's called also identity theft, spiritual identity theft. I remember I got that one when I was with an energy vampire, a warlock. And I know we haven't covered some of these words on the channel in this podcast, I am kind of trying to breaking them down, kind of giving you a reference to what they actually mean. Because I know sometimes we hear words, but we haven't heard these words as Christians, so we don't think it exists. We don't think these type of energies and powers exist. But our Uncle David told us in Proverbs, you have to know the truth. You have to know understanding and the dark truth. You can find it in Proverbs chapter 1. You have to understand that if there's good, there's also evil. When we do not pay attention, when we do not believe evil exists, this is why we're caught in a strong delusion. Like I said, as Christians, sometimes we don't get into these words because we be like, well, manifesting, that's a demonic word. You have to know that those things are going on around you. This is some of the spiritual delay we suffer from as Christians. You are the company you keep. If somebody is always negative, but you're positive, eventually you're going to fall into that negativity in some subtle way. It can be maybe that you're not gossiping, but the people always around you gossip. Now you probably start slightly talking about people or judging people. You're not even aware. You are the company you keep. It's very imperative that we are around great people like we are, because iron sharpens iron. Come on, Jesus. If there's some dull iron, it's not going anywhere. It's not sharpening anything. Some signs of a positive person is they have their own character. You'll be able to look at that person and be like, man, the one thing I know about them is they're always happy. The one thing I know about them is they're always cooking and cleaning. And mind you, some of the basic things that a positive person have and does, or some things that you do on an everyday that you think is not that valuable, it's actually very valuable to a negative, demonic person. That's exactly what they want. If they don't have energy to clean, if they don't have good hygiene, these are some other signs when you come around. And it's one thing to learn from somebody and be influenced, but this is something that a negative person will never tell you. They'll never tell you that they're watching and learning and growing from you. It's always competition. It always ends in jealousy. You're a positive person. You're a clean person. This person has horrible, poor hygiene. Always have poor hygiene since you know them. But now they come around. Also, they refer to some of these demons as monitoring spirits. So a monitoring spirit is somebody that comes and watch you. They're learning from you. They're potentially growing, but because they're so stubborn and their heart is so cold, they're so negative and ill will. Their intentions are so demonic and uncalled for. They're just going to watch you and get the information. I'm going to try to copy it and do it like you, instead of just saying they want to learn. So now they're going to be able to say, well, I don't have my own energy to be a clean person, but if I'm always around a clean person, then good things and clean things are going to come to me. And that's exactly how it works. You're going to be giving away that power, little do you know about it or not. But if you're around somebody positive, you're around somebody else that has great energy, good hygiene, then you get more ideas on how to be more of a good person, how to be a clean person. Great minds think alike. Signs of a positive person is they have their own character. They have their own character. They smile. They have goals. They help without condition. They love without condition. They're not judging somebody, talking about after they help somebody. Man, you know, I had help bro last week. You know what I'm saying? So just expecting him to, you know what I'm saying? It's a difference between gossiping and you having to explain, or you wanting to explain a situation to somebody to get an understanding. That's all different. A positive person loves and help without conditions. It's not going to be a reminder. In fact, they have so much love and help to give you, it's not taking from them. We pull from scarcity when we don't have enough. If you don't have enough money, how can somebody borrow? If you don't have enough love, how are you going to be able to love and give it to somebody else? In order for you to get in it, and you think it's a simple fix, but it's not. Because a lot of people are too prideful to be corrected. They don't want to be corrected. They're not paying attention that their negative attitude is destroying the relationships around them. So the reason we want to protect that is because we have only so much, and then there's so much we have to do to just make sure we're always that good person. A good person has an opportunity to be a bad person. It's just not going to never fit them, but they do have the thoughts about it. And constantly having those negative thoughts about a negative person, you can possibly swap out your goodness for their evil. You being a good person with a good character, you're going to be creative. You're going to have a prayer life. You're not going to be a liar. I mean, we're human. We all probably lie, but that's just not really your lying is not your MO. Stealing is not your MO. The good thing, a good sign about a positive person, they're going to have at least one boundary. They're going to have at least one standard in their life. It's going to be at least something that they stand on business about and they stand on it tough. For instance, and I don't mean to sound like, I don't know, this was the first example that I came to my mind because I always said, me being a single woman, me living in this world and doing adult things or whatever, there's at least one thing I can preserve. Like being a good person, you're going to at least want to preserve something good, have a standard about something, have a boundary about something, even if it's one thing just personally to you. That thing for me was children. And then it's the way I look about it. Like, I'm not just about the, you know what I'm saying? A good person is going to have one goal, at least one goal. One thing is said they have a different type of character. They have self-respect or morals. It doesn't matter if it's in one area or multiple areas. A negative person, they don't have that. They just steal. Negative people, they always try to steal and take. Like I said, it's so subtle you might not even know. But a lot of time now in this generation, I'm finding out it's intentional because people are so heartbroken. They refuse to decode whatever that is, wherever that might be coming from. So it's easier, if they don't know what they're doing, then it's going to be easier for them to be used against you in a spiritual attack. And then it's also going to be easier for them to just be around siphoning up their good energy and not knowing. And then this is why sometimes you hear people say, man, I've been tired all the time, but since you came around, I wanted nothing wasn't going right until you came around. But then when people start decoding that and they start using it for their bad, then that's when they intentionally start using you. Like, man, I'm finna call this person because, man, I already know they got good energy. I'm finna call this person because, man, I already know. You don't want to use people like that because karma comes back to everybody, especially when you're doing bad things. Negative people, they're always tired. It's some type of health problems. We all have health problems, but it's on a deeper level. Everybody that's sick, everybody that has a health problem is not because it's hereditary. It's not because they're not eating or doing the right thing. Sometimes a health problem comes back as a spiritual attack. It comes back as karma. We have to look into that. We always see a deadly plague when something is going on in the nation. When God wants to send a message to somebody about something, he often affects their health. That's the slow death. That's the easy way to get you up out the way. So people, and that's often the first sign that people do not pay attention to. They do not pay attention to their health declining. Excuse me if you do hear some noise in the background. I am sitting near a heater. We're going to continue the podcast. Excuse me, I'm not going to edit this podcast. People don't even be paying attention to the signs of them having health problems, but they're gossiping all the time. Negative people, they just kind of go with the flow. They don't have a plan. They go with the world. And some people call it living in the matrix. You can't take them out of that mindset. They're going to work until they die. That's all they see. That's all they know. It doesn't matter about their body. It doesn't matter about their health. When you live like that, you have a certain type of mindset. You're in survival mode from the day you were born until the day you leave. That's not healthy. Typically, people in survival mode have negative character traits because they're in survival mode. You have some strong soldiers. They call them God's strongest soldiers, that when we go through things, we're able to get back up. It's a character. Some people have a character that they just have, that they slightly have to work on because they were raised and have been around negative environments, people, places, and things. And then some people, they never had that. They just was not born with it. They weren't born with it. So if they don't work on it, it gets worse. And then they're just a natural born hater. The first problem with a lot of some discussions that people have that is not able to reach everybody, first of all, is them not understanding, and second of all is their belief. If you don't even believe in negativity, if you don't even believe in demonic forces because you probably ain't seen a ghost or nothing like that, if you don't even believe that evil exists, then you're unconscious. That's what we call unconsciousness. When you're living in a world and you're not, and you can see with your own two eyes but you refuse not to see what's going on. It's like turning a blind eye to what you see. You know this person is hurting your feelings. You know this person is breaking your heart. You might even got the, you know what I'm saying? Somebody even gave a rundown like, man, this is the type of person this person is. But you can see these things, you feel these things, but you're turning a blind eye to it. That's kind of like living in the Matrix too. It's just like, man, forget that. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just gonna stay in this toxic situation because I just want to feel something. It's you going after your own personal desire versus you fighting to get out of that situation with the wisdom that you do have. Negative people, they go with the flow. They just live in the matrix. They live in the world. They don't care. They consume everything. They conform to everything. The Lord said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Don't be conformed to this world. Don't be conformed to the, come on, Jesus, the patterns of this world. These are patterns. These behavioral traits, these are patterns. The delusions, there's a pattern that a person has, that whether you're able to pick up on their vibe, their energy, their spirit when you first meet them, or you have to go into a little relationship with them. But there's always going to be a pattern. It's levels to this. Nobody just woke up and started hating you. They always been a hater. If they weren't born, if it wasn't embedded in them, in the womb of their mother, it doesn't matter if they came out of a toxic womb. It's the way you were created as a person. This is why negative people, they try to break down good and positive people, and they sit and wonder like, man, why my plans ain't working? Why my witchcraft ain't working against that person? It's born unto them. You cannot steal this. Come on, Jesus. Then you get into the jealousy of Abel and Cain. He could not steal the authenticity that he had towards God. So then this is where you get in. They were born like that. Instead of him saying, hey, brother, can you know what I'm saying? Like, show me how how your gift was good. Hey, it's a two-way street. It's good versus evil. You never heard just good. You never heard just evil. You never heard just good, no bad. There's bad things that exist. That's the first thing that you have to understand and believe before you even get into some of the off the wall conversations. Like, before you even start thinking so deep and going so deep, you have to first believe, like, okay, you have to first be interested. You have to be open-minded to the thought of, the possibility of, the unknown. Negative people, the first signs, they argue, they like to fight, they like to debate without probable cause. They might not even have no proof, but they're going to sit up, they're going to argue you down to the ground, honey. It's just they have a point to prove. Very prideful comes from negative people. They cannot be humbled. They'll go through the most humble experience and it still doesn't humble them. Negative people, whether they are aware of it or not, they are after the goodness that you have left, because it is a spiritual warfare. Everything is meant to be negative. You're not supposed to be happy. You're not supposed to try anything outside of what you were taught. And we were all taught in the same system. We were all taught to go to school. We all have the same American dream. You go to school, you go to work, you get a husband, you get some kids, the white picket fence, da 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 da. How is it that we're all different people, but we all have the same dream? We're all supposed to live the same dream. So this is where now you separate the woke from the unwoke, the conscious from the unconscious. Negative people always have some type of confusion around them. They hold your time. Time is a big one. They're going to keep you around. These people don't even got to like you. If somebody does not like you, that's the first red flag. Maybe you caught somebody just always got their face barred up when you come around or something. That's the first red flag of them not even liking you, but always still wanting to be around you. When you pay attention to their conversation, you can hear certain things. Throwing shade in a conversation, a red flag. A backhanded compliment like, oh, you look pretty, but you could have put on something else. Red flags. Negativity, we have to get that under control in 2026. Letting people speak negativity over our lives. No, we don't always have to go to battle about it. Like, I ain't dumb, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to fight. That's what we call, you don't have to fight those battles. How do people think you're dumb but you read books? You never want to argue with a foolish person, especially if you know what you're doing to be a good person. They're trying to bring you down to that level of foolishness. They're trying to take that good energy. They're trying to test your knowledge. Somebody calling you dumb and knowing how wise you are is just a test of your knowledge. Alexis Love Beauties and Flawless Men in 2026, we have to protect our good energy. Keep yourself safe. You need your energy to stay focused, to stay balanced, to complete your goals, to make money. Everybody be talking about making money, but you can't do that if you're tired, if you're negative, if you're closed-minded, if you're not a people person. So just be on the lookout for some of those things this year. Make sure you're checking your circle, you're checking everybody, and just protect yourself with the most that you can and following God's instructions. I love you, and I will talk to you later.